What is up, everyone? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE video that I have here for you guys. So today we're going to be talking about Fire Emblem and some more Fire Emblem, because you know what? Every single time that I talk about these things when it comes to the franchises that I love the most, there's something in me. There's always some bit of news that spurs me to do a part 2. So if you have not seen part 1 of my Fire Emblem will shock and surprise you, if you have not seen the first video, make sure you check out that one, because this is a little bit of a follow-up with some new information that we do have just when it comes to the franchise overall. So many of you guys have said, yo, like OJ is kind of crazy, like he's kind of like Fire Emblem crazy, like there's no way this game is going to be a huge like seller. Like Fire Emblem has never been that. So I was like, you know what, it's okay. Like a lot of people think that. I understand, like Fire Emblem has not sold more than like 4 million copies worldwide. There's been no Fire Emblem game to ever do that. So I get it from some people. It makes sense, right? But if you look at what's been happening lately, and if you look at the franchise Fire Emblem itself, it's never been given the chance that it needs to get with the system like the Nintendo Switch. Now, Nintendo has alternated between home console and portable versions of Fire Emblem, and there's always been a little bit of a split in terms of the base and how people want to play Fire Emblem, right? I mean, you have stuff like Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon that came out after console versions. That was a portable game. There's like a one that's in the Japan only. That was like a sequel or something like that that came out. And then you have the 3DS games, but then before the 3DS games, you have the GameCube and Wii games, but then there was the Game Boy Advance. I mean, this franchise has jumped all over the place, and it's never had that platform to where you can really say, hey, we can get fans who love Fire Emblem playing portable, we can get fans who love playing Fire Emblem on the console, and we can put that together to get something amazing. And this is the first time with Fire Emblem coming to Nintendo Switch that we have that. We have people who love portable Fire Emblem, because yes, there are people who say, I want to play my Fire Emblem games anywhere because of the style of game that it is, turn-based, kind of go at your own pace strategy. Like they want to be able to play that anywhere that they want. And then you also have the, I would guess like the old school or the loyalists who played Fire Emblem growing up. They played them on the NES, the Famicom, you know, they went back and played all of those. And you have the people that say Fire Emblem's a home console game. Now with the Switch, you have both of that. You have both of that combined, because the Switch is a hybrid. So you're going to get those Fire Emblem fans from the home console, and you're going to get those portable fans from the 3DS and on. So I do feel that that is something that's going in Fire Emblem for the Nintendo Switch's favor, like big time, is the fact that it's on a hybrid system. Like you cannot understate how important that is. Now, and I do want to talk about something else when it comes to the sales of Fire Emblem. So if you look at it, Fire Emblem Warriors on the Nintendo Switch in about 5 months plus or so has sold 1 million plus copies on the Nintendo Switch. Think about that for a second. A Musou game, Fire Emblem Warriors, a spin-off, not an actual mainline Fire Emblem game, has sold 1 million copies plus. I think, honestly, due to that special edition with the discounts on there. A lot of people really wanted that special edition, but they don't want to pay the price for it. But since it went down in price, people have been snapping that up, because it is a very nice special edition, which you guys are seeing right back here. I do have it. So it is one thing, yeah, that could be a factor, but at the same time, it's still a spin-off. It's still not the mainline series. And to see Fire Emblem doing that well, Fire Emblem Warriors selling 1+ million, what do you guys think a mainline Fire Emblem is going to do? Some people are like, what, you think Fire Emblem is going to sell 4 million, 5 million plus? I was like, yeah, I think it's going to sell 4 or 5 million plus, and it's going to help boost Nintendo Switch hardware sales. It's going to be a factor. People thought I was crazy when I said that, or just fanboying out for Fire Emblem. But no, it looks like that is the case, because if Fire Emblem Warriors, which is a spin-off game, I would say at least minimum 3 to 4 times the amount of Fire Emblem Warriors. And on top of that, remember, Fire Emblem Switch, we don't have a release date, but Nintendo has pegged it for 2018. So maybe it comes out later in the year. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch is going to be getting some huge boosts from games like Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch. And this summer, Project Octopath, I think that's going to be a big boost as well. I think that game is really going to help push the summer months too. So you look at stuff like Project Octopath, you look at stuff like Crash Bandicoot Insane, Captain Toad, all these games that are coming this summer, that's all going to help and get the install base bigger. So when Fire Emblem drops, I'm looking at minimum, like I said, minimum 3 to 4 times higher, and maybe even more than what Fire Emblem Warriors did, because Fire Emblem Warriors had to do that with a much smaller install base. And the success of this game has made me so happy, not just because I love Fire Emblem, it's because it proved the naysayers wrong. I love it when something comes out and people are just so against something, video game, for one reason or another. Whatever the case is, that's not necessarily malicious in intent from a developer, for example, not including a couple characters you wanted, and people want to bash the heck out of it. And then when it actually has that success, especially when people thought it was a failure or used ridiculous notions to say that this game is going to fail, or look, this game failed because its first week of sales. Like, I love when those games actually triumph in the end and they get the last laugh, because it shows you not to overreact, not to go crazy over something that just launched. You know, like, it's always good to just hold up, wait a minute, evaluate things, and let things play out with a developing system that's getting an increasing install base. And as more Fire Emblem fans get excited and pick up the system, that's when you're going to see sales pick up for certain franchises, or just certain games in general. Not even just talk about Fire Emblem, but like certain games that maybe they don't sell as well at the beginning. Well, let some more people buy the system and it'll get the long-term sales. So for me, it was great to see that. So if we're looking at Fire Emblem Warriors getting 1 million plus on the Nintendo Switch at this point, imagine how big Fire Emblem is going to be on the Nintendo Switch. I envision a lot more than 1 million units, guys, and I would say it probably tops out at around 5 million or so, depending on how good it is. Now, that's the one thing that is the wild card in all this. We're all assuming that Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch is going to be amazing, and it needs to review amazing. There's a couple of things I want to make sure that I want to say. Like, it can't be a crappy Fire Emblem game. It can't be a game that reviews like in the low 80s or in the 70s. This needs to be a masterpiece of a Fire Emblem game, and it will get there. Now, if it doesn't get those higher review scores, then yeah, it's going to be maybe 1 million, 2 million, somewhere in there, maybe 3 million, you know, if it gets lucky. But if this is as good as Fire Emblem Awakening, if it is as good as Fire Emblem Fates, plus it has the graphics, plus it has all the stuff that the Switch offers in terms of features and functionality, then yes, it will be a 4 million unit seller minimum, just based on what I'm seeing with Fire Emblem Warriors, guys. But it has to get those review scores, and I'm thinking near the Awakening review scores or higher. I don't see why they shouldn't be able to beat Awakening in terms of review scores. Like, it should be 93, 94 rated plus. Intelligent Systems has had a lot of time to make this game. Remember, guys, just to give you guys a little bit of a refresher, Intelligent Systems actually started working on this game back in 2015 after Fire Emblem Fates wrapped up in Japan. Now, we didn't get Fire Emblem Fates here in the US and in the West till 2016, but the main Fire Emblem team had already finished up that game in 2015 when it launched in Japan, and it already started working on their next one. Now, the small team was left behind to work on Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia on the 3DS, but that wasn't a big team. That wasn't the main Fire Emblem team. Remember, there's over 120 people that work at Intelligent Systems, so the main team was working on that brand new Fire Emblem game, which is why they were confident to announce it in 2017 and then have it be released in 2018, because they knew they'd be able to get it done. That is 3 years of development time right around that period, maybe even more. That's just when we know that they started working on it, was after it was complete in Japan. So it could have even been a little bit into 2014, or just kind of researching some things in terms of making an HD Fire Emblem game, because guys, this will be the first mainline HD Fire Emblem game officially from Nintendo, because Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that doesn't really count as a Fire Emblem game mainline. That is more of a crossover spin-off thing. So that's not the same thing, okay? So I'm expecting this game to not only look great, but I'm expecting it to review great. I'm expecting it to be pretty much the pinnacle of Intelligent Systems when it comes to Fire Emblem. So let's hope that they don't have any HD rookiness or anything like that, you know, to where they run into issues there. But I think they should be good. They've had their time. I mean, they're moving from 3DS to Nintendo Switch. This is like a Superman leap in technology, in power, in just functions. There's just so much more things the Nintendo Switch can do over the Nintendo 3DS. So I'm thinking that they're probably working out all the kinks there. but I'm very confident in Intelligent Systems that they're going to do an amazing job on this game. So Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch, can it reach 4 million, 5 million? Can it take the franchise to new heights? Absolutely, and I expect to see that very soon here when we finally see Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch. So I do want to remind people real quick that the one reason why I'm thinking that this game is going to look amazing is because pretty much the only thing we know about this game when it comes to from Intelligent Systems, they said the game's going to have beautiful graphics. That's the only thing that they've said. So I'm expecting cutscene level, like, you know, in Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Awakening, I'm expecting near that level of quality when it comes to it. Now, if it doesn't reach that, then that's okay. I mean, it's still going to look amazing. Obviously, it's going to be on the Switch, HD, whatever the case. It's still going to look amazing, but I'm looking forward to see what they have for us. So before we go, I do have a special message from one of our users to another one of our users. So my boy, Julio, how does my salt taste? Ask my boy G5, bro, how does my salt taste? I can't even say that with a straight face. So G5, the message has been delivered. Shout outs to both of you guys. You guys are both amazing. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch, and also when it comes to just Fire Emblem Warriors selling that 1 million? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace!